Threats to kill the Indian men, abduct their children and then sell their women. At what level are we now? These are among the disturbing messages allegedly heard in the recordings reported by ABC News. Australia is facing a growing shortage of the truck drivers. To keep the freight moving across the country, it relies heavily on the migrant workers, basically Indian men. Well, behind these wheels, several Indian origin truck drivers say that they are facing a disturbing reality. What is it? What they claim that the racism has become a part of their everyday work. From insults to abuse and violent threats, many say they no longer feel safe during the job and Australia desperately needs them to do. Now, the issue has become a spotlight after an investigation by ABC News. The investigation includes the audio recordings allegedly captured from the UHF and the CB radio channels, and now the same communication systems that truck drivers use to every day warn each others about the accidents, the traffics, the road closure and other dangers. But according to the report, some people are using the channels for something very different. The recordings allegedly contain racist abuse directed at just the Indian community. Among those messages heard in the audios are statements like Indians to go back, mocking the Sikh Punjabi men for their Indian accent and using the offensive racial slurs. But the language doesn't stop there. These recordings were reported by ABC News, and there is the indication that these views were represented the broader Australian public. Well, not really, only a few of them, but for the whole trucking industry. However, the several Indian origin drivers of the ABC News hearing that such messages had become a regular experience for them. One driver said that every time he spoke on the radio, he was abused because of his accent. Another said that he has stopped turning the radio altogether just because the harassment becomes unbearable. And that creates another problem for them. These radios are critical safety tools. Drivers depend on them to receive the warnings about the hazards on the road. And if workers stops using them out of fear, just like Indians are doing it, experts say that it can affect the communication and potentially impact the road safety. Despite that, some experts, interviewed by ABC, say that constant racism and aggression can affect drivers' concentration, decision making, and mental health all over. And at the same time, other experts stress that there is no evidence that Indian or Punjabi, basically Sikh drivers, are more likely to cause the accidents. Australians do not collect cash or the database of ethnicity. Meanwhile, Australian Human Rights Commission has acknowledged that the racism exists within the parts of the road freight industry. However, it says that investigating these incidents is difficult because CB radio are usually anonymous. And the timing especially is significant because Australia was short of 28,000 heavy vehicle drivers in 2024. And according to the International Road Transport Union, even today, Indian-born residents have become Australia's largest overseas-born community, within more than 970,000 people living in the country. Even after that, many of those migrants are helping keep Australia's freight industry running. But many now say that they also want something just as important as a paycheck, a workplace where they can do their work without a fear. And Australia becomes increasingly dependent on the, migrant workers. The debate is no longer only about the labor shortage. It is now about whether people keeping the country moving, receiving the dignity, the respect, or the protection that they deserve or not. What is your thought on this? Make sure to comment down below.